Chup. Lupa, lupa. Gunda. Yep, yep. Maratuto. Siagoba Fangawa. Gupa lupa. Koto Ostoga.
What's up, everybody? It's Wes, Hank, and Andy. We are back again one more time.
Just the end of season 1. We're okay.
Oh, wait. You're right. It is the end of season 1. It is Tales from the Moon of Fandor. Fandor 13. Lucky number 13. Just so happens that's how many episodes there were in this season. Can you believe it's over?
That was, yeah.
Doesn't feel like it went by slowly.
No.
Flew by.
I feel like that as well. God, I don't think I'm... There we go. Sorry. Small adjustment for me. Not used to hearing myself so quietly. I gotta tell you, now that we've hit the end of this, 13 episodes, 13 weeks of doing this, and I know we've had some ups and downs, but I have to tell you, for me, this was the most emotional episode of the season, and I'm not gonna lie, I did well up.
No, it was just a snowflake. There was lots of those going around.
Oh, that's true. That is true. There were lots of snowflakes, including me, I guess.
I did not well up, but they definitely saved the best for last. Although the quality looked like it might have been the first one they did.
The animation quality.
Yeah, just like it seemed.
There was some stuff going on with that
rapidly
snowfall.
Put together.
It was almost like I'm going to take a cell and I'm going to put a bunch of dots on it. And then I'm going to take another cell behind that and put a bunch of dots. And I'm just going to rub them together. Is that how we make snow in the 80s?
Yeah, kind of. Or they were on so much snow that's what they thought snow looked like.
My gosh. It's a Dini episode.
Is it ever?
Last week we talked about the difference in the caliber of writing. Bob had a co-writer last week and we never heard from him again. And I feel like, if anything, this episode more than makes up for the bit of a dud that we had last week. I love this episode. I sat here and I did you know what? Wait a minute. Can I put the conversation on hold just for 1 second?
Forgot
because I think we've overlooked something.
Have we?
Oh, we
yeah,
did.
You know.
Uh-oh.
Bad Star Wars jokes.
Getting ahead of myself this week. Guys, I got a question for you. We've been talking Ewoks, like I said, for 13 weeks by now. Oh, by the way, did you guys feel like there was a ton of Ewokies in this etepisode?
Yes.
There was,
like they were dropping Dengars and Kabarks and
there was the other one, Tesh.
Yeah,
Tesh was a lot. Couple of Dengars. So sticking with that theme, guys, what does Scout Trooper translate as in Ewokese?
Yuck, yuck.
Would you believe? Fast food.
Fast food.
Oh boy.
Fast food.
Quick.
One more time. Who doesn't like a speeder bike?
Everyone loves them. Even the Ewoks ride them.
So true. Sitting back and reviewing sort of mentally reviewing the entire season and trying to think of the high water marks. This is right there. It may in fact be the number one episode of the season. I would say that I want to call, like, if I can put all of her episodes together, like the Morag episodes are sort of the second place. And I don't think that I think the one where where she dies is probably the best of those episodes. you guys think you got
We should shout out to Josh. He was with us.
oh yeah. Good
What
evening,
is
Josh. You got your boy watching with you today. That's
Fandor
great.
audience.
So you
welcome
are
aboard.
it's not Tuesday, so you're not on the road. Not
Welcome
driving tonight.
aboard.
That's good. That's good. I was gonna say a drum set.
That is also an
Tom
option.
Tom.
Do you guys have a vote for? Oh my God, what am I doing? Clumsy thumbs. Do you guys have a sort of a vote on what you think was the weakest episode of the season?
Oh, maybe the last one, but there's
The
been
one
a
before
few.
this one.
There's been a few Bob Corral. You know, you kind of get tired of the Guppins after a bit.
I want to throw shade at the Guppins just because Ron said no.
Yeah. Damn you, Guppins.
Yeah.
You're the king of the Guppins.
It's hard to say, but I could definitely, without a doubt in my mind, that this is the best episode of the season. And having watched ahead just a tiny bit because I was curious, it's probably the strongest Ewok episode they did.
Series.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched the episode this week, like I do. I watch them, a day or so ahead of before I start writing because I want it to percolate a little bit in my brain before I start vomiting. Blah, right.
Get some feels for it.
Right. I want to see what comes up. I want to just kind of take it in a bit. But I made the mistake of going from the season finale right into the season 2 premiere because I'm like, I know we've talked about how jarringly different it is.
Yeah. I did that tonight.
How'd it go?
I just let it roll, and it's I don't know, 3 minutes into it, and I was like, that's okay, just long enough to hear Wicked's different voice, and then I shut it off.
I'm sort of mixed feelings right now because yes, we've got some gentle adjustments on the animation style. It's kind of hard on the eyes in some cases. We get, characters get slight redesigns.
It's
and of
very
course,
diplomatic of you because
that
back to back, it looks like 5-year-olds drew the second season.
That recasting. The one thing I will say, watching those 2 episodes back to back, is that you can tell that at least, except for Chief Chirpa in that one, with Wicket and the girls, they tried to get sound alikes. They tried, and it's not like, at least I can appreciate that, even though it's not like I've just watched 13 episodes and I understand these characters that are characterized the way they have been. And now that they sound slightly different and the performances are slightly different, I got a real thought about this. Andy, have you watched any of season 2 yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, Hank, follow me on this one. Remember in the 80s, and we got this a lot with Robotech. I know we keep going back to Robotech, but I mean, we love it so much. It's an easy one to go back to. The cast, when they were doing Robotech at Intersound in LA back in the 80s, it was an ensemble reading. Everybody was in the studio to act off of each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like season 1 of Ewoks, they may have done that because it is jarringly different by the time we get to season 2. And it's like everybody's doing their lines just fine, but the nuances, like the inflections in the voices, don't play off of each other the same way that they do in season 1.
Yeah. You get that a lot of 80s and 90s, like phoned in kind of stuff.
I mean, that's kind of the way it is now. I don't know if any shows do ensemble in the studio together.
I mean, some of the bigger ones definitely, like Futurama, they do live streams sometimes of their recording sessions and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's because the internet has allowed everybody to work independently. There's a cost saving measure there. That people don't have to be. We don't all have to be in LA. We don't all have to be in New York. We don't all have to be in Toronto. We can phone it in.
I mean, there's 1,200K between us right now, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, but I think that maybe like COVID, for better or worse, it's really early to say, but changed the landscape in terms of what can be done remotely. and
It absolutely did.
know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and how sustainable that may be. We'll find out.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to lament too much. We'll save some of that for when we get through tonight's slides, and we can sort of come back to it at the end like we always do. That being said,
Do it.
let's go back to Endor one more time. Let me just readjust. Oh dear. I fumble with this every week.
There you go.
That's the one.
Mhm.
Okay, it is season 1, episode 13. This one is called Asha. It is written by Paul Dini. Yes. Directed by Raymond Jaffalis, like every other episode this season.
Mhm.
Our original air date is Saturday, November 30th, 1985. It has a runtime of 22 minutes, and our episode synopsis this week reads: Wicket watches as a mysterious defender of helpless animals thwarts Duloc hunters. I like that. It's right on the nose. There's no like, I
Yeah, but it
wonder what's going to happen.
Doesn't give away the whole episode. It
No,
basically just gives you
no.
the first 3 minutes.
We're going to get a lot of questions answered in this one. Questions
Mm.
that we brought up sort of organically. And I think even as recently as last week, we'd sort of talked about, there's no mom.
Mhm.
Well, we know what happened now.
Right.
All right, so our episode opens, and the boys, that being Wicket, Tebow, and Paplu, having used their gliders to fly one full day away from Bright Tree Village, enjoy what looks to be a camping trip. Now, Wicket is collecting some water from a nearby river, and he brings it back to their camp. And on his way, he hears what sounds like several voices shouting. Then Tebow hears it, and finally Paplu, who's been sleeping all this time, wakes up and shouts, "That's Duloc voices!" Well, they grab their weapons and they go off to investigate. We find a hunting party of Dulocs has chased what's called a Maramoo to the edge of a cliff. And after some comedic bumbling, they manage to net the creature. Little do they know that they are being watched by a female Ewok with red fur from a nearby tree. Now, this Ewok, believe it or not, looks even more primitive than the rest of them, adorned in furs, and she howls like a wolf. The Dulocs seem to recognize her because they see her and they call her the Red Ghost. Well, the Red Ghost ropes one of the Dulocs from her tree, and she drops him on the others, and they all panic and run away. And after they run past, the boys, Wicket, Tebow, and Paplu, approach the Maramoo to try and get the net off of it. Paplu makes a point to say that Ewoks only hunt when there is no other food. But the Dulocs enjoy making a sick game of it. I want to pause right there.
Hmm.
This begs the question. Everybody roll back the Wayback Machine. Let's go back to Return of the Jedi, which actually hasn't happened yet. Return of the Jedi hasn't happened yet, but for us, we've seen it.
Mhm.
If Paplu is speaking the truth, then, trapping is a form of hunting. Was it a really bad year for the Ewoks during Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, they had all
Maybe.
kinds of meat hanging around.
That's what I mean. Like, there's no
Where-
other food.
Where'd they get the clothes from this? Like this implies that they ate a human woman at some point.
That's right.
Well, in Jedi, you don't see too many Warlocks running around, do you?
No, I guess not. I just find that interesting that they would make a point. And I know that it's, for the sake of the kids that,
Yeah.
we don't need to hunt animals to live, but,
Mm.
some people like to hunt animals.
But we do obviously hunt them so we can wear their skins.
No, absolutely. I'm like all the furs and stuff, like in live action. You
Yeah.
can't tell me those
And
aren't
skulls that are adorning our leaders' heads and things of that nature.
It becomes more problematic when you look at the Red Ghost, who's got looks like teeth and or claws and fur.
Mm.
What?
She only protects certain animals.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Just the ones I like.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be like the indigenous peoples of Canada, like using all of the
Yeah.
the animal to and being respectful, as opposed to
No, I believe that's true.
poaching or zookeeping, like the Dulocs seem to be doing.
I just like for it to work in return for Paplu's line to work in Return of the Jedi, we have to accept that it was a bad year.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not enough food, but hey,
Well, they were using meat to bait the trap that they caught Chewie and them in, right? Like,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, the red ghost leaps out of the tree and she growls at the boys, thinking that they're about to hurt the Maramu. But Tebow actually bites through the last bit of netting and frees the creature.
He uses a little bit of shaman talk there to calm.
Well, he
the thing
does.
down
He
too,
does. He
right?
does his like easy. Whoa, Maramu, it's okay. He bites through the net, freeing the creature, and her expression all of a sudden softens as she realizes that, oh, they are in fact just trying to help. Well, after the Maramu runs away from the cliff edge, it's good because it wasn't going to go the other way.
Mhm.
The red ghost howls like a wolf again, and
Mm.
then a fierce roar comes somewhere from the forest. Then a striped orange canine called a Karina appears on a nearby ledge, and it gnashes its teeth at the boys. Arrgh. The
There was a
Karina
lot of that this episode,
growling and
and growling and
howling, and
not just from the animals, but from the Ewoks.
that's true. That is true. That's problematic for me as well. We'll get to it. The Karina leaps off the ledge and slowly approaches the red ghost. Wicket rushes to save her, thinking that the canine is stalking her, but stops short when it roars at him. And much to the boys' surprise, the red ghost climbs up on the Karina's back. She howls again before riding off into the forest. Well, the boys, who are absolutely terrified at this point, run back to their camp, ignore the whole campsite, grab the gliders, and start flying home as Paplu exclaims, I'm never coming back to this part of the forest again.
Nope.
No. Well, here's our Maramu. It is a herbivore native to Endor. This is its first, and I think we get one more appearance from it in season 2.
I halfway thought it was going to be like the Endor version of a Tauntaun.
Well, that's kind of what we're going. It's definitely visually familiar here. My mind immediately went to Kaibok, but Kaiboks are slightly different in that they don't have the curled ram horns. They have more like antelope horns. And the Maramu is cloven hoofed on both its fore and rear limbs. So I guess this is our kangaroo goat. Kangaroo
Why
goat
it was so
With the
swift to
golden
get up that
horns.
cliff.
Yeah. Not the golden fleece, the golden horns. And then we have our Karina, native canine to Endor. It's a wolf. I don't know. There's really any other way to say it.
The
Wolf
kids are cute when they're
hyena.
little.
It's a wolf.
That's true. They are.
Wolf hyena.
I guess
With a
so.
bit of the arch on the back.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The big humped back.
It's got like, a little battle cat.
Yeah.
No,
Stripey.
stripey kind of going on there.
Neither of these are canonized.
No?
No.
Well,
No canonizing. Wait, one. I got one canon reference this week. That is it. All right. So back at the village, Paplu is telling the walklings about a 6-armed monster that they encountered in the woods. Now they ask him if he was scared, but Tebow interrupts saying, oh, he wasn't scared. He was terrified. And then Nisa shows up and she asks, well, what's going on? Well, the walklings tell her that the boys ran into a monster. And Nisa, knowing a tall tale when she hears one, chuckles, a monster? But then Wicket tells her what they actually saw. He says it was a girl Ewok about 6 snows older than her with red fur. Nisa rushes to Wicket and starts shaking him at the shoulders. Red fur? Where did you see her? He says that she was living in the wild and there was a Karina with her. But then Nisa begins to cry and she runs back to her hut. Rushing into her bedroom, she pulls out a small box from under the bed. Opening it, she takes out a piece of tattered blue fabric and hugs it tightly as she cries. Well, then Wicket and Winda come to check on her and ask if she's okay. Nisa tells them she just misses her sister, Asha. Well, they try to comfort her, and Wicket says that he'd miss his sister too, while Winda tells her, don't cry, Nisa, your fur will get all sticky. Nisa chuckles and then hugs Winda as she begins to tell them a story. before I get to the story, actually, let's put the slide ahead. I'm not going to go into the thing yet. A girl Ewok about 6 snows older than you. How did her language ability devolve that much in the time that she was gone?
Well, so there's another question I have, and I don't even know how to frame this. Like, did she get progressively smarter after their first encounter? She doesn't even seem to recognize them as other Ewoks.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's more than Jungle Book. It's like in the next scene, she recognizes Ewoks. In the scene after that, she's speaking Ewok. In the scene after that, she's easily communicating back and forth like their brother and sister, and
it's
then
still in that broken.
I know I jumped ahead a bit, but
Yeah.
it's a bit jarring, like in terms of
I took a quick look at the whole Romulus and Remus raised by wolves things, but that doesn't, other than she was adopted by a family of Karinas, there's not much parallel here with that mythology. So
I mean, it could be more than 6 years if Nisa's an infant there, and that's hard to say. Like I put Nisa around 12, like like preteen. That's where I put all the
I just got the
main
impression.
cast.
I got the impression that in the flashback that Asha is as old as Nisa is in the present.
Right. So then I would put her like 18, 20.
Yeah.
In the present.
When we get to the present. So again,
that's 12 years in the wild. So without recourse to Scream Dengar, you might lose it.
Not talking to anybody. I suppose so.
But having been 12 and fluent at one point, it would probably come back to you fast.
I would think so. Now, Asha appears in like 4 more episodes in season 2. For sure, she's going to have a different voice actor. So it'll be interesting to see how she's portrayed in season 2 when we get to those. Josh wants to say that maybe seeing everyone again jogged her memory.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yep.
But it doesn't fully trigger until she sees the stone on.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But all right. So getting to the story, we drift back into a flashback where we see Nisa strapped to her mother's back in a papoose of sorts, while her older sister Asha, dressed in her blue hood, walks just a few steps ahead of them. Nisa says that they were out looking for pretty stones one day. And in fact, the blue stone that she wears on her hood was given to her by her sister Asha. Well, Asha spots a hollowed tree trunk, and she goes to investigate what she thinks is more rocks. But no, inside, a Hanadak bursts from the tree and it bellows at them. We kind of got ahead of ourselves with Hanadak this way back in, I think
earlier
it was,
one
of the Dulocs.
Village, I think.
Yeah, one of the Dulocs made a hungry as a Hanadak or something weird like that.
Yeah.
What the heck is that? Well, there it is. There's your Hanadak.
It's weird what they say that lured her in, though. It was the shine of the eyes, and she thought it was more jewels.
More jewels, yeah. We didn't see the eyes, though.
No,
that's too bad.
That's what Nisa says, right?
We see like the camera over top of the fur, like,
just another sign. Don't go in trees, man.
Of all the deadly things we've seen, this one is the one that proves to actually be deadly.
Yeah.
Well, earlier in the thing, we do see Wicket step on I guess we're calling it a rock frog.
Oh, yeah, early in the episode. Yeah, we don't know what that would have done.
No, like, would it have drowned him, or
I don't know.
Ate him, or who knows? Just something else on Endor to kill you.
Well, the Hanadak bursts from the tree and it bellows at them. Well, Nisa's mom stashes her in a bush before taking up her staff to fend off the creature.
That's how she survived. Tebow got her out of there.
We're getting some flicker here. Hold on a second.
He was in the bush.
There. I hope that doesn't. Sorry, we might be having a technical difficulty here.
That's okay. Keep going.
All right, we'll keep going. If it becomes problematic,
pull over. Driver, pull over.
Yeah. All right, so stashes Nisa in a bush before taking up her staff to fend off the creature. Then we fade back into the present where Nisa says that she was alone when her father found her, and she says that her mother died trying to save them, and there was no trace of Asha except for the tattered remains of her blue cloak. Josh says, another thing that'll kill you, Endor is sounding more like Australia. Yeah, absolutely it is. Well, Nisa says that Asha had red fur, and it's the rarest color of fur for an Ewok. Wicket asks her if she's suggesting that the wild Ewok is her sister, and Nisa replies, I think she's still alive. All right, so now we get some information. Here's our canon reference this week, and it's Nisa's mom. Her name is Raleigh. Now, this is her first and only appearance in the series, but she was canonized in a flashback of all things back in the IDW comic book Star Wars Adventures Tales from Vader's Castle #4. That was published in October of 2018. Quite a few things that we've got canonized have come from this issue.
Well, the Hanadak's been canonized too, right?
I'd have to go back into my notes and double check that.
I think he has.
Same, well, for sure, the Gorax on the cover there.
Yeah.
From the movie.
Who was said to control the Hanadak at one point.
We're going to go back to the movie again this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh, there we go. Well, that night as Nisa lay in her bed, Chief Chirpa says that no one wants Asha to be alive more than he does. But he reminds Nisa that having looked for her as long as they did, they would have found her by now if she was still alive. But Nisa reminds him, well, the boys saw her. But the chief dismisses it and says it's easy to mistake things in the deep woods. Now, is that just a bereaved father who just doesn't want to be reminded?
Doesn't want to get his hopes up just in case it's wrong?
Or is he dismissing the kids the same way, like, you're too young to do the thing, but you can go do this other thing?
Well, at the same time, like Pop who was telling them, it's a 6-armed Ewok.
No, he did say that, didn't he?
So who knows if they were on mushrooms or anything?
That certainly doesn't help. It doesn't help their case. Trip. It does not a boys' trip. It doesn't help their case if that is.
If they come back and they're spreading tall tales.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, he puts out the light, leaving Nisa alone to sob in her bed. But later that night, Nisa sneaks out of her hut. She goes to the window of the Warwick brothers' bedroom, and she wakes up Wicket to say goodbye and to ask where it was that Wicket saw Asha. Shaking his sleep off, Wicket tries to explain the directions, but he gets kind of a little crossed up. It's like half a day's glider south and then turn east at the Thunder Caves. I'll just, you know what? I can't let her go alone. Thunder Caves, by the way, no other reference for those.
I thought that was where Morag was chilling.
I looked it up. There was was nothing. Yeah.
I thought it was an AC/DC song.
You've been Thunder Caved. Well, like the good friend that he is, he offers to show her the way, and the two of them set out on the back of a Bordock with the winter snows about to set in.
Like about.
like
cue the deep snow.
That's right.
That's what the script says. Cut to deep snow.
That's right.
The other thing about that moment too, like Nisa sneaking out of the hut.
Yep.
And like, you know what? I'm going. She is full of hope, which is like, primary in the whole Star Wars thing, right? She's not letting go of hope.
I will say this too. While we're talking about sort of these characterizations, here's another thing. Now that the season's wrapped up, Wicket going with her, that's another consistent thing, is just like, is Wicket not the best friend you could ever have?
Yeah.
Like he would just do anything. He would do anything and go anywhere.
He was going to fight the dog, the wolf.
Yep. Yeah. And he doesn't even know her.
When he didn't know. Yeah.
He had already dropped his spear too. Like,
yeah. I'm ready to go toe to toe.
Well, it comes up again here in a minute and he's ready to throw down, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. As you say, later on in a driving snowstorm, Wicket leads the Bordock with Nisa saddled on its back. The snow is blinding and neither of them know where they are. So blinding, in fact, that Wicket slips off a cliff. But still with the Bordock lead in his hand, he holds on while dangling precariously. Nisa coaxes her Bordok Rokna to back up, but the rope begins to ice up and slip from Wicket's hand, and just as Wicket reaches the edge of the cliff, the rope slips from his grip altogether, and he begins to fall. But suddenly, another Ewok is there to catch him, and the Ewoks know him as Chukatrok, the Ewok woodsman who lives far from the village. Well, Chukatrok tells them that they're lucky he picked up their trail and that he doesn't often get visitors out this far. He chides them for being out in the woods alone, calling it dangerous. When Nisa says they're looking for someone, Chukatrok laughs as he tells them they couldn't find their own ears in the storm. Stepping over to Rokna, he takes the reins and tells the kids that he'll guide them back to the village. Nisa says they can't go back, but Chukatrok says this is no weather for cubs to be out in, and he sternly orders them, come. But then the shrieks of several creatures erupt from the woods, which panic Rokna, and the Bordok runs away. Nisa runs for some nearby trees, while Wicket and Chukatrok prepare to face whatever it is. But Chukatrok shoves Wicket towards the trees and tells him, you too.
Sort of smacks him on the arse.
He does, because
you go too.
He's like walking away, rubbing his behind, like,
good game. Good game.
Another thing to point out too, Nisa during the cliff thing.
Yep.
She's like, "Oh, come on, Rokna," and Wicket is like, "Come on, good Bordok." Like he doesn't name it specifically. He just like, "Hey, animal, back up."
I mean, yeah. I mean,
so is this her personal family Bordok?
I would suppose so. It's the second case of a Bordok being named in the series after Baga, which we assumed was Wicket's.
Yeah.
I occasionally
Milani's.
I occasionally refer to my dog as like
dog?
hey
Girl?
dog.
Or, yeah.
Or you know, my wife as hey woman. So it happens. I mean,
and you catch a swat on the behind too.
I'm just
Yes.
waiting for a fist to enter your camera.
She's sleeping.
Okay. All right. I don't think there's anything like.
Yeah.
I don't think he means anything by it other than like keep going, you're doing good. Come on, come on, Bordok, you're doing it.
Yeah, good dog.
Influenced True Lies later on for Arnold with the horse scene on top of the hotel.
Oh man, I don't know.
It's a maybe.
This feels kind of tropey though. Like we've seen this before, like with other stuff. I'm pretty sure there was a similar thing in Hidalgo.
Okay.
Mind you, Hidalgo is much newer than this.
Wonder if it's back in like the old west.
Arnie may have gotten all of his bits from 80s cartoons. So.
Seriously. But again, like it is like in a cowboy, like a Western, man and his horse, that just seems sort of, they go together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, we see all kinds of examples of this. I just couldn't name a bunch of them. All right. So just then a pack of fox-like canines, these ones are called coits, come bounding out of the woods on a beeline for Nisa. With his stone axe raised, Chukatrok charges at them, and with a Dengar battle cry, he dives into a forward roll and comedically rolls into a giant snowball, bowling his way through the coits. Totally cartoony here.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was great.
Works good.
It's like a video game maneuver.
Yeah, totally. The canines quickly recover, and as they form up to strike, they take pause because the red ghost has appeared on a ledge standing behind the woodsman, and she gestures for the coits to leave. Chukatrok, who is busy making faces at them, laughs triumphantly as they run, unaware that it wasn't him, but the red ghost that just saved them. At the same time, the snow has stopped falling, and the three Ewoks suddenly notice the red ghost standing there. The two girls make eye contact, and the red ghost leaps down to face Nisa.
Superhero landing.
Yeah.
Yes. Her expression softens as she reaches for the blue stone on Nisa's hood. Nisa wells up as she whispers, Asha. And Asha recognizes her as she replies, Nisa. Nisa throws her arms around her, and the two sisters hug. Listen, just want to take a second here and
I might have switched those up unless you did.
what do you mean?
I got the Chukatrok one before the thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
so it's 11 instead of 10?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. I just want to take a few minutes and just remind everybody, if you want to help out the show, one great way you can do it is you can head over to our merch shop. And now is a great time to do that because everything is up to 35% off up until November. So between November 6th and November 24th. So that sale's coming up in just a couple of days. And for our viewers in the United States, there is a free shipping threshold. So get yourself a couple of T-shirts,
Yep.
a mug, or
Pick your president, and then the day after, buy a T-shirt to lament
right.
that Trump may have won.
lots of pop culture inspired designs there that I'm sure will resonate with some element of your childhood. So totally helps us out, helps us fund the show, keeps us rolling when we need to do equipment upgrades, and it helps us pay for some of the subscription services that we use to produce the show. So
And you get
great
some
way to
really
help
good
us
gear
out.
out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
High quality stuff,
T-shirt.
actually. Yeah.
Which we will be doling out more of on Random Fandom. So we've got sticker prizes that are coming for some of our games that we play. So tune in for that and get yourself a free sticker.
Yeah, but you can get T-shirts, hoodies. You can even get onesies for your little ones.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. All right. So now if I'm doing this right, we go back to this one. There we go. All right. So Chukatrok, he is our Ewok woodsman, and he appears here technically for the first time because the Ewoks cartoon is a prequel to the TV movies. Unfortunately, Chukatrok does not survive the caravan of courage and actually dies fighting off the Gorax. Unfortunately. And
It's
then,
okay that my mask's not screen accurate.
yeah, the eyes are a little bit unnerving in this one. Like, what is going on there? Oh gosh. Our coit, essentially some kind of fox like thing. Cat fox.
Angry little thing.
Yeah.
But they're not that little though.
Oh, there's our sale again. All right. So later that night, the Ewoks all take shelter with Asha and her adopted Corina family. The pups all play with Wicket while their mom leans into Chukatrok. Over near the entrance to the cave, Nisa and Asha talk about what happened the day that their mom was killed. With Nisa stashed in the bush, she never saw her mom take off Asha's hood and push Asha into the river, telling her to swim to the other side. But as Asha says, she couldn't swim and she was swept away by the current until she was found by the Karinas, who adopted her and raised her as part of their pack. Nisa is excited to take Asha home, but Asha says, "I can never leave." She says that she has to stay to fight the bad ones. Wicket, overhearing this, says, "The Dulocs?" And Asha says that every snowfall, the bad ones come to kill the animals for their fur and horns. But she's been secretly breaking their traps, but they still keep coming back. She makes a point. Is it here where she talks about remembering their father? I think it is.
Yeah.
It's very subtle, and if you don't look, you might miss it. She points at the Corina father. No, our real dad.
And that line kind of struck me wrong, just like from Asha's perspective.
In what sense?
Because like Nisa was only considering, Chirpa as her father.
Yeah.
But like to Asha, like this wolf clan is her family.
Yeah.
Right. So like I could see that upsetting her.
I thought it was well, we're on it now. So I thought it was rather for someone who's like, I can never leave. It's not like I won't leave now. It's I can never leave. Sure is easy to walk away. Bye. When the time comes, just bye-bye. See you later.
Well, with their help, they kind of finished the task.
For now.
I mean, if you can believe a Duloc promise.
For now.
Yeah, exactly.
For now.
There's some weird stuff going on. There's a big male, a bunch of puppies, and no mother in sight.
Well, there's two. There's two.
Is there two?
Adults.
Two,
Yeah,
two adults?
two adults. The female is leaning against
Oh,
Chukatron,
yeah,
and the
right,
male
right, right,
is at
right.
the cave entrance.
That's right. Yeah. He's petting the female. That's right.
Making
Well,
goofy eyes at it too.
yeah. The next morning, Nisa and Wicket awake to find that both Asha and Chukatron are gone. It seems that the Dulocks have returned, this time with King Gornish and the shaman, and they're presently roping another Maramu. Might be the same one, I don't know.
Possibly.
But there are also several other animal crates arranged nearby as well. Asha and the woodsman belly crawl to a ridge overlooking the Dulocks as they try to subdue the Maramu. Gornish remarks that its horns will make a fine trophy. Now, their two baby Maramus try to get closer to their mom, but are kicked away by the Dulocks, who shout at them, "Come back when your horns are bigger."
Kind of doubling down on that whole trophy bit. They're not there hunting.
Yeah,
for
no, we
food.
don't care. We just want your horns.
Yeah.
Did you notice X and O are back this week?
Mhm.
Along with
and a couple
along
of
with
others.
Diamond and Three Stripe, and I think there's another one, but it's
He's
like,
got an anchor. It looks like an anchor or an arrow with a
Yeah,
curved
yeah.
bottom. I was kind of hoping Wicket was going to get this pup. Like he seemed to have bonded with one of the pups.
Oh, the one that was chewing on his toe.
And then it slept with him all night.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
yeah,
it
yeah.
wakes up beside. I was hoping that would be a like. Let's write this, guys.
So he's going to in our fan fiction.
I mean, yeah, when he's king of the Ewoks,
That's
riding around on that
Chief
thing.
Wicket and his Karina pet.
Ah, dope. Yeah.
His war Karina.
His battle Karina.
All right, so come back when your horns are bigger. The Maramu, distraught at her babies, tosses one of the Dulocks into a tree, just kind of yanks its head and flings it. Well, then the shaman steps forward with a small sack, remarking, "Well, all we need is a little hunting magic." Taking a handful of powder from the bag, he tosses it at the Maramu, but the animal blows it back in his face, and Umwak bursts into an uncontrollable sneezing fit.
I'm unclear as to what the hell he was trying to accomplish.
Right. They've already caught it.
Like, what was he trying to do? Make it sneeze?
I don't know if he was trying to like subdue it so it wouldn't like stop resisting them.
Maybe, but if all it does is make them sneeze.
I want to know though, how does the same bag of magic powder affect two different conditions?
Right.
Hunting magic
And
for this,
ouchies
and
and
then
boobies.
and then we'll fix your owie finger.
Mhm.
Well, staggering over to the king, Gornish himself is able to stifle the sneezing fit by sticking a finger under his nose, but it's short-lived, as in fact Umwak does let out a huge sneeze that stirs up more powder from the bag, and then both he and the king take off on another sneezing fit. Meanwhile, on the ridge, Nisa and Wicket have finally caught up with Asha and Chukatron, and talk about like hair reflexes. She was ready to like, "Arr!" Like when they tapped her. They all watch as Umwak apologizes to the king for his bumbling, but then the king tells him to leave him alone before walking over to one of the cages and tapping at it with his staff. He says, "No more of this ghost chatter." And then pointing at the cage, adds, "And if any spirits dare to come around here, they'll trap it as easily as this." But he's cut off as the animal inside the cage bites his finger. The king melodramatically blurts out, "It went for my throat. I hadn't put up my finger to defend myself."
So much exaggeration this episode.
Then Umwak offers more magic to soothe his injury, but it's just another dusting of the sneezing powder, and the king is off again in another sneezing fit. The one thing that I will say about the Dulocks is that they are consistently comedic.
Then he drops the classic line, "Get away from me, roothead."
Yeah, roothead is seems to be the common insult amongst them. I find him in this episode to be the most, like, we had one episode where he was like really really evil, and in this one, like, he's more of a buffoon in this one than we've seen him before.
Mildly evil.
What's that?
Only mildly
Only
evil.
mildly evil, yeah. Oh, back on the ridge, Wicket goes to ask Asha a question, but then realizes that she's gone. Looking down on the Dulocks, the Ewoks all watch as Asha casually strolls out into their ranks, and she snaps the ropes off the Maramu with her bare hands. She's quite strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She does a thing here in a second that would put her like superhuman. Like,
Yeah. Reunited with her babies, the Maramu and the two young, they hop away. Gornish now angry at this, while Umwak chatters in fear. Moving to one of the cages, Asha opens it, freeing what looks like a porcupine
Something like that.
before moving to the next cage.
She just rips the door right off.
Yeah.
Again, continuing that strength display, right?
Gornish taps her on the shoulder. "Excuse me, Red," he says. "I couldn't help but notice that you're freeing all of my animals." And then he asks her, "Are you the red ghost that's been raiding our traps every year?"
yep.
Yes. Freeing another animal, this time an armadillo. Straight up, it's an armadillo. There's no question. She tells him, "I am." Gornish orders his warriors to get her, and 4 of the warriors rope her while they all laugh maniacally. But the laughter fades as Asha growls at them. Arr. Well, Chukatrak leaping off the ridge with a "Danger!" battle cry. He charges the Dulocs, but is quickly halted when he falls into what I think is a pit trap.
Mm-hmm.
Gornish laughs and throws a snowball at him as he says, "Stay in the trees, Ewok." Shaking his fist back at the king, Chukatrak retorts, "When I get out of here." Back up on the ridge, Wicket says to Nisa that the Karinas will help them. Meanwhile, Asha uses her body to fling one of the Dulocs holding a rope around her. Then, with her hands now free, she yanks on the other ropes, swinging the Dulocs around in circles
Yeah, like the Hulk.
until she flings them into a snowbank.
Yeah, like they're not. I mean, they can't be light.
I mean, they are comparatively sized like to an adult Ewok.
Sure.
We spend a lot of time with the kids, so the Dulocs seem bigger, but no, they are the same size as an adult Ewok.
Yeah, and so that's double her weight, say,
Close to
on
it.
the end of a rope, and then swinging them around like it's just a typewriter.
That's
Well,
right.
that whole Tarzan thing, right? 12 years of like
Well,
completely relying
oh
on
yeah,
instinct and muscle.
Yeah,
gotta open your nuts somehow, right?
yeah, I guess so.
with
Yeah,
your
yeah.
bare hands.
Well, Gornish tries to take a swing at her with his staff, but Asha effortlessly pulls off a backflip and avoids it altogether. And with a low growl, she starts walking towards him. And this part is just, I know that the bumbling is part of their thing. It is the Dulocs thing, but to see the king bury his head in a snowbank like an ostrich, "Save your king," was just so bizarre. Anyway, the 3 that just got tossed into the snowbank have now freed themselves from it, and they charge at Asha with their eyes shut. Well,
they don't want to fight the Terminator, so.
And end up colliding with each other instead. Asha, meanwhile, has hoisted another Duloc up into a tree with her, and using a vine, she swings down with the Duloc in hand, using him like a bowling ball to topple over the other 4. With a howl, Asha swings back up into the tree, and with the Duloc ranks broken, they, including Umwak and the king, all flee. The 2 of them, the king and Umwak, are stopped short when they come face to face with Nisa and Wicket riding on one of the Karinas. The 2 of them, I missed a slide. There we go.
Well, she does throw the bolo at the tree to knock.
That's true. Nope, that is true.
As they're
the 2 of them are stopped short as they come face to face with Nisa and Wicket riding one of the Karinas. Now the 2 of them bumble around for a minute, but then the Karina roars at them and they're on the run again. This time Umwak on the shoulders of the king. Asha uses a bola to loosen some of the snow from an overhead tree, and the clump knocks the 2 of them to the ground. And as Umwak lifts his head and shakes the snow off, he's quite surprised to see Asha now sitting on his butt, which is sticking up in the air. She growls at him, and he buries his face.
It's such a weird little thing, though, right? Like just the.
I think it's funny that she just like literally like he's kind of thumb in his mouth, bum in the air, sleeping like a baby, and she just comes over. Doink!
Yep. You're my chair now.
Yeah. Then, taking Umwak's tail in her hands, she twirls it as she stares down at King Gornish. The king asks her who she is, and she tells him, I am Asha, sister of Nisa, daughter of the great chief Chirpa. And then Nisa, from the back of the Karina, adds, the creatures of this forest are under her protection, Dulox. Umwak says, they never meant any harm. But Asha, twirling his tail, says she thinks it would make a pretty good headband. Umwak cries out, no, anything but that. And he adds that we'll go away and we'll never hunt here again. Hopping off his butt to face him, Asha kneels down. Never hunt where again? Umwak cries out, anywhere! With his hand over his heart, he makes a promise on what he calls the oath of all Dulox. Chukatrak, now being pulled out of the pit by the Karinas, retorts, whatever that's worth. It's funny that
it gets tough at the once he's almost out of earshot.
Yeah,
it gets super tough.
That he's kind of like, as far as the characterization of the shaman goes, like he's always been this, like, I don't know if he's like trying to like curt favor with the king, but like he's always out like doing something.
Yeah, he's a yes man.
But now it's like he's taken it's a pretty bold move for him to be talking for the king. We won't come back. I promise. I promise. King's right there. He can hear you.
Mm-hmm. And his response is kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So Asha faces King Gornish and she growls at him. And you? Gornish nonchalantly agrees. Yeah, whatever he said. Standing between the two adult Karinas, Asha levels a finger at them and she tells them, go, adding that if you ever do this again, and then she looks over her shoulder and she winks at the Karinas, who both roar at him and then lunge. And then it's heels and elbows as Umwak and Gornish beat feet, tripping over a log and falling into the other warriors, and then the entire group rides the log down a snowy hill. Nisa calls Asha wonderful and gives her a big hug as she says, now you can come home with us. Gornish, still sliding down the hill, looks over his shoulder and shouts an overture that amounts to, we're not done yet. But then the log slides off a cliff and they all fall into a cold river.
The log floon.
And they go whirling down and down like water.
Reference for our Canadian viewers there.
Can we do lock that up a little bit?
Yeah.
That's where the do lock.
They show up in Temple of Doom.
That's right. All right. With the Dulox hunting threat abated, at least for now, Asha says goodbye to her adopted family. And it's literally like it's a few seconds. Bye, gone.
So I'd just be bringing them like a bunch of tame.
Yeah, come on home.
Like come and be part of the tribe now.
Seriously.
Holy.
It's not like they wouldn't be well cared for.
Mm-hmm.
We cut back to Bright Tree Village, where Chief Chirpa is pacing around the hut while he's reading Nisa's note. He says that the note doesn't say where she went. But then the princess pulls back the hide covering the door, and Chirpa is relieved to see her. He asks, where have you been? And says, you shouldn't have gone out on your own. Nisa apologizes, but she adds, but I had to bring someone home. Throwing back the other hide for the door, Asha steps in and she says, hello, father. The chief, overwhelmed with emotion, and I might have been a little bit too, wells up before rushing to his daughters and holding them tightly. Just outside the hut, Wicket and Chukatrak, they watch the scene, and it's the scene unfold. It's beginning to snow, and the two Ewoks sniffle a little bit and start to well up themselves. Chukatrak covers for it by saying, a snowflake got in my eye. Mm-hmm. And Wicket, taking a tear from his own eye, answers, yeah, lots of them around here. And the two of them walk away, and we fade to black.
Did it hit like a Christmas episode a bit?
It kind of did.
A little
bit.
Let's go back.
Like big feelings, winter.
This is November 30th, so it's winter when this aired on broadcast television. I could see this sort of being.
And the first time, although they seem to mark time in snows, it's the first time
Mhm.
we've seen in 13
Yeah,
episodes
yeah,
actual
yeah.
snow.
So
So does that mean 1 year has progressed since we've been watching the show? Is this the first snow that we've seen?
the first episode was the fire, but then it was the good berries or whatever it was,
Sunberries.
sunberries. So presumably that would have been sort of springy,
Mhm.
springy coming into summer, maybe.
Yeah.
So
And then they
maybe
go trade their surplus, and then they get
Yeah,
the fall
the-
harvest.
the
that's
supply
right.
run.
So maybe it does track.
Maybe there is some chronology here. Um,
But yeah, like it's a Christmas miracle. They brought home the lost daughter.
That is a miracle. Yeah. So Asha gets mentioned in one other episode, but she appears like I think 3 or 4 more times across the season 2.
Hmm.
But that's going to be
Has she resumed her nomadic ways in those episodes? I guess we
I
don't know.
don't know. I don't know. I didn't look that far ahead. I will though. I don't want to spend too much time talking about
Forward.
for
Yeah.
what's happening with Ewoks because we're going to go
We'll get there.
we're going to
eventually.
step a little bit sideways.
Right.
And I guess let me just remove this
It's-
here.
It begs a couple of questions though,
Yeah,
like
go
about
for it.
like we talked about, are there other tribes of Ewoks? And now we've
Oh,
got
yeah.
you know
At least 2 nomadic Ewoks.
right, like so she wasn't part of a tribe, so that kind of pulls that away. But we definitely have the woodsman who's making a living, or
He's definitely part of this tribe, though. It's definitely spelled out
Yes.
clearly that he is in the movie.
and does that make
anyway.
the soothsayer also part of the tribe?
I thought so. I thought she was
Yeah.
just a one-off, like, oh, the old crone. We just because she's like nobody listens to me.
Mhm.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
why no
that
one's
makes
ever
sense.
seen you. They don't listen to you. They don't see you. God, has anybody stopped to feed her? My God.
Endor's pretty big, and chances are there are other,
I saw
villages.
I saw this today in a Star Wars group, and it was arguing over is it Endor or is it
The moon of Endor.
Tasha?
Mm.
The moon, the gas giant that the moon orbits. Is
Right.
that Endor or is this Endor?
I mean, I think it's semantics, but I guess I grew up thinking that this was Endor, but
Me too.
when it reads like that this is the moon of the planet Endor, which would be the gas giant. And we have another moon of the gas giant show up
Right.
in Rise of Skywalker.
That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which remarkably looks kind of like, the
Endor
coasts of
looks like
exactly.
a giant drop ball.
We also have the episode. It's or not this episode, but we have the series itself that actually it's what's his name, the Guppin guy, Mring-Mring.
Mring-Mring.
Mring-Mring makes a reference to like the greatest Endorian, the Endorian plains or the Endorian like they reference it as Endor.
Mhm.
Sure, yeah, they do. Yeah.
So yeah. I just thought it was an interesting, like, oh boy, we're gonna start picking or start splitting hairs now. Is it or isn't it?
Sanctuary moon.
The sanctuary moon. That's a whole other story.
Mhm.
There's a reason why they call it the sanctuary moon, but that goes to another script draft that got axed. But that
Speaking
line
of script
makes sense.
drafts,
Yeah.
since we're in the wheelhouse, I don't know if it's going to make Tuesday, but did we see the Phantom Menace sort of rewrite? I'd never
Oh,
heard that
yeah,
before.
that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
That's a new one for me.
That
The
I mean,
idea
that would work really well.
for those of you who haven't
yeah.
may not be aware of this, George Lucas has revealed that the earliest ideas for the Phantom Menace, the names of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were actually reversed, and it was Ewan McGregor's character was Qui-Gon Jinn, and Liam Neeson was Obi-Wan Kenobi, which adds a whole new level of context if you
And
think, oh my
it would have played
gosh.
out the same way, except it would have had Qui-Gon, Ewan McGregor,
Yeah.
taking the name of
Yes.
Obi-Wan Kenobi moving forward after the Maul kills his master and takes up his quest to defeat Maul.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a
yeah.
whole layer of really friggin' cool there.
then it makes
that
and
doesn't
then
take anything away from what we have.
No.
Like it, you know what I mean? If you're gonna do something, that doesn't alter canon, but is shockingly cool, and that there's one right there.
Right now there's like a countless number of gatekeeping fanboys that are just screaming at this news because suddenly this makes the idea of Rey taking the Skywalker name way less egregious.
Yeah,
Like suddenly it's like completely
super
fine.
plausible, right?
Right from the mind of
Right.
the maker.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Han Solo.
That's right. Be mad at something else, damn it.
Could have been Han alone.
That's right. Speaking of being mad, do you think anybody's going to be mad at Skeleton Crew? Anybody's going to be more mad than you are right now, Hank?
I'm
How do you feel now?
I-
The first. Well, I couldn't say the first. We call this the first full length, maybe?
Well,
Is it a full length or is this still a teaser?
I think
I'd
this
say
is
was
this
full
is
length.
yeah, this is the full length. This might be the last full length. From now on, we'll get teasers
We've got
or maybe
the
a
first-
sizzle reel, but I think this is the trailer.
We got a trailer for Skeleton Crew the other day.
I don't know if putting hate in the chat 3 times was worth it, but I strongly dislike, and I'm still there.
No, you should. You should.
I strongly am not happy with a
Star
human
Warsian,
song.
a Star Warsian lyricized version of the song Major Tom coming
if it was
home.
like the Andorian sort of vaguely Miami Vice-esque, I mean, jizz is reminiscent of like synthetic jazz music or weird funk. I understand that they're not going to invent genres of music we've never heard before. And I'm not asking John Williams to compose something in notes that have never been
That's right.
even conceived of. But you're literally covering Major Tom and Huttese, and it just pulls me right the frig out of Star Wars.
What's interesting is you say Huttese. I'd like to know if it is, because when you turn the captioning on, there's lyrics.
There's the lyrics.
There is some lyrics on the video. I just want to take a second here. We've got Polar Knights on Twitch. As a barber, I love this. It is the perfect evolution of facial hair growth.
We've got that comment before.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We like it too, man. I'd said that I am way more forgiving of this stuff. That doesn't mean that there are instances where it doesn't work. And you would have mentioned Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
Didn't work.
Knight's Tale, although I enjoyed the movie, it kind of kept pulling me out. Willow, it pulled me out.
Awful. It was awful.
Star Trek, the first J.J. Abrams, Sabotage makes the opening scene because it's part of Earth's history.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then you had mentioned Battlestar Galactica, where I say, okay, you're in the wheelhouse there with
in the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, there's a brand new arrangement, a highly stylized version of All Along the Watchtower, and it really, really works.
It does.
And then Hank, you're like, but that is in the same universe. There's an Earth in that,
right?
But what's weird about that is by the time they show up at a point in Earth's history that predates.
But you could even say then somewhere like Jimi Hendrix heard that,
but you
could wheelhouse that.
Absolutely. We didn't get to finish that conversation the other day because
that means Ziggy Stardust is on Tatooine somewhere.
Fans of the reimagined show will know that there's the opening text, and it's like, it's happened before, it will happen again, right? So there's this idea that it's a cyclical,
right,
repetitive.
And then I said,
that's the thing,
what looks like the CN Tower or the Seattle Needle.
Oh yeah. In the
maybe they're going to actually canonize Earth, which is kind of a thing we've been dancing around forever.
Oh,
and you said they pretty much spell it out in the crawl.
It is. I mean, it's implied in the crawl a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Extend the bridge.
Oh,
find the controls and extend the bridge.
But I'm not gonna go like and shit on the whole show just because,
no.
Like I hated that Indiana Jones trailer, and then I wept in the theater when I saw that movie. So
The newest one.
the newest one. I didn't like the trailer with the sympathy for the devil.
You were far more forgiving of that movie than I was. It was just,
Yeah.
meh, it was just okay.
Well, do you remember they had the one trailer for Gladiator way back when that had Ball with a Bob by Kid Rock in it?
Oh, that,
Like the original Gladiator.
Yeah.
Oh dear, no,
And-
I
and
don't
it-
remember that.
It lined up perfectly with the tiger swiping scene.
I feel like
And it
for
was
me,
That's hyping me up for the movie. I mean,
The-
it wasn't in it, but
the reason going back to the Huttese thing, there is there like the captioning on YouTube does generate some words.
Yeah.
So I want to know what is the translation of those words.
Wow,
If
we
there's
could
somebody
easily
out there,
nail that.
Star Wars fans who are into this more than we are, I want to know.
And we're not
what
talking
do those
the
words say.
We're not talking the Bowie Major Tom. We're
No,
talking about
no.
the
The German. It's
going home. I
Major
think it's
Tom coming home.
coming home.
Coming
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
But I find, and this is where I think it works for me anyway. For me, it works because yes, we're hearing it in a Star Warsian language, which makes it like okay, but it is recognizable. But when you go into the actual lyrics of that song, and it's like the ship is waiting, all systems are go. Are you?
Yeah.
And it's like that is so like that works with them finding a ship and taking
It
off.
does, but I feel like it's almost like a Facebook post or a meme where like that's what we have, right? But I expect more from. I expect Star Wars when they want that sentiment. I expect them to
Yeah.
app and create it.
We got some time. Hang on a second here. I want to talk about memes for a second here because I got one. I made one.
Mhm.
I made one, and I've got the time here. Let's just share this with
There you
everybody. Just gonna take a second here for this to.
down.
Oh, you know what? I might actually
already
have
be
it.
there?
I might have one in the trash machine here.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. I've already got one. There it is. Come back. Come back.
Come back. Burlap.
It's not coming back.
Nah, there we
all
go.
over.
I want to put in I got a clip here I want to play for you because once I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh. Take a few seconds for this thing to process, but hey, we got time.
Yeah, we do.
We're live. It's what we can
Not
do.
Sniles Noodle's grandson or whatever either.
Yeah,
No,
you-
Max
you
Rebo.
please.
No, or Max. Sorry, Max
Rebo, yeah. Yeah, so talking about it being a meme, I couldn't help it. I made a meme from the trailer. Here we go.
I need you to take the controls.
Okay. Neil? Neil?
I don't know if you could you hear the audio with that?
Yeah.
Did you get the audio with that, Hank?
Yeah,
You did. Okay, good. When you loan the keys to your classic car for the first time.
Okay.
Neil. Oh man. Everybody needs a crew though.
Yes.
Everybody needs a crew, including us. You guys are my crew. And all of you folks out there, you're our crew. That is going to be our next Star Wars property. That's not true.
Well,
No,
our next
that's not
review
true.
series.
That's going to be our.
Well, our next TV review.
I like the way we got to split hairs on this one.
Wow.
Our next show
do.
review.
Be accurate.
I do like the way we're splitting hairs on this. So, Ewoks carried us, man, like I said, the last, 13, 14 weeks. We've had a holiday. I think we've had a sick day or two in there.
Yep.
But man, we saw it through all the way. I loved doing this, even though there were episodes I didn't like and were like, I don't want to write this. Shoot me now. There was a few that I was just so like,
Is this the acolyte again?
The next thing we're doing, I'm pretty excited for.
I'm super excited.
If you were here last Tuesday, Andy and I gave our audience on Random Fandom a sneak peek. I think it's only fair that we give everybody else a sneak peek of what's happening starting next Sunday. That's going to be November the 10th. It's the day before Remembrance Day.
Mhm.
All right, we're going to have a whole bunch of special guests here next week to go through this with us. And I'd like to share with you the opening sequence of our next review series. This is going to take us right up until the premiere of Skeleton Crew in December. And here it is, our Back in Black Series. That's right. We are looking at Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch line of action figures, one wave at a time, starting next week, next Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that is going to be so much fun. All three of us are familiar with the Black Series, where at least I know I and Hank and I are avid collectors. Andy, you're a cherry picker.
I am.
That counts. We have some special guests who are also action figure folks, who are also live streamer, YouTuber friends of ours that have graciously agreed to come on the show with us and talk about some toys. Because who doesn't like talking about toys?
I am so stoked.
I hope that you guys will join us with that. We've always talked about doing more toy stuff, and I know, like Andy, you and I, we cover like toys every week. But this is a little different because now we're talking about stuff that we have a real affinity for, that we are all of us are invested in this to some degree, and nothing like being able to pull
$30,000 in credit card debt.
nothing like being able to pull live samples from the shelf as we
It's going
talk
to be
about it.
amazing. Yeah.
It's going to be
And I'm
so much
super
fun.
interested because I think between us, you're going to find that we've got nearly everything. Because I often am like, oh, I don't have that, and you do, and I think I have a few things laying around that some people don't have. So that's going to be super cool.
Can you tell our audience what you told me when you sent me over? I think I have.
Oh, I'm sitting at 241 Black Series.
241.
241.
And I'm like, I'm afraid to count mine, but just off the top of my head, I think we're close.
Yeah.
I think we're close.
I got a couple of doubles because I tend to army build, but
I do too. I don't have every stormtrooper ever made, but I probably
I've got some obscure just within arm's reach.
I did not get that one.
Rocket trooper.
Yeah. I did.
Which I basically bought a stormtrooper just for a rocket
bazooka.
launcher.
I got some bazooka.
And the remnant trooper, I couldn't help. The one I missed, the one that is elusive to me, and I would probably spend way more than market if I saw it.
Sure.
Is the Mimban mud trooper.
Me too. The one with the big forehead. I like that
That's
one.
the nicest new design I've seen.
It's quite nice. That and the Imperial Patrol Trooper.
That's a real nice one too.
The motorcycle cop from Solo.
Yeah. I love that one. The Mando Trooper reminds me of that a bit.
You wouldn't be talking about this one, would you?
Nice one too. That's a real nice figure.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. All right. Just for Josh's benefit, because Josh says I'm back. Josh, next week, starting next week, and taking us all the way to the premiere of Skeleton Crew, we are talking Star Wars: The Black Series, one wave at a time. Next week, we are covering the first wave. That is the first wave of orange box figures all the way back in 2013, and I have the entire wave. So
I got one. I think I have one of that wave. so I'll be able to throw
Nice.
that. I
Nice.
think I have one.
I look at Wave 1 and it's like, oh, and how many times have those been reissued?
Couple.
Some of them, Luke has been reissued
Once or twice.
at least 3 times that I can think of off the
Yeah,
top
a
of my
lot
head.
of so I have archived versions of a lot of that wave, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's going to be so much fun. Like I said, we're going to have some very special guests with us next week. Some familiar faces, I think, for fans of our show that have been around long enough.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking for other action figure enthusiasts. So if you are an action figure enthusiast, a Star Wars fan, and you like toys and want to talk about toys, shoot us a message. You can find us on all the socials. We are everywhere. Or you can email us at fandompower3@gmail.com. Let us know your interest in appearing on a future episode, and we can schedule you in.
Maybe we'll see you at RonCon.
RonCon 25. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Later on next year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good. That being said, I think I have nothing left to say.
I'm all Ewoked out.
Find the controls that extend the bridge.
That is the new.
It is.
I did make a social media post earlier this week about coming to the conclusion of this series, and I really enjoyed doing this more than I thought I would, despite the issues that I had with some of those episodes. And I am sure that we will get back to season 2 at some point. I can't promise anybody when that's going to be, but I have every intent to get back to that.
It was super fun. Like, there's no stakes. There's nothing like to. It's been 40 years. There's no way that it's going to break canon in a way that we hate. There's no way it's going to affect. I don't know. There's no stakes. That's the best thing about it. It was just the pure fun of like.
Unless your name is Morag.
Yeah.
Or Raleigh.
That's true.
Anyway, is there anything you guys would like to wrap up with before we say goodnight?
No, that was a hell of a ride. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And at least in this last episode, we didn't get the traveling Jindas.
No Jindas. No Jindas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Don't
Don't forget.
Maybe Ron will do an interview now that we're 13 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe. We just talked about the whole thing. This probably launched your career and you can't even remember.
We've done as many episodes as he has now. So
that's right. Oh,
bet you'd talk about corner gas, wouldn't you?
That was Eric Peterson, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Oscar.
No, it was Oscar Peterson. You
Oscar
are
Peterson.
absolutely correct.
Eric Peterson. Yeah.
Oscar Peterson. Isn't that
It's Oscar.
Isn't that a composer?
Oscar Meyer. We can do.
No, his character.
Let's do that game.
Oscar Leroy.
Oscar Leroy.
I'm glad you remember because I don't.
Jackass.
Oh my gosh. Don't forget, if you haven't already, do like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our content. We do live stream twice a week, Sundays and Tuesdays. Again, you can check out our Patreon if you want to be a sponsor of the show. We absolutely couldn't do this without all of you, although we would anyway. We would anyway. But we are overwhelmed with the amount of support that you guys have already shown. And again, if you would like to take advantage of the upcoming sale over on TeePublic, you can find our merch shop there. It's in the link. The link is in this video. Remember, 35% off. And for our US viewers, there is a free shipping threshold.
We got more brands than Funko, man.
Nice. Oh, nice. Josh says, Paul-Dini, if you say it fast enough, sounds like Java talk. Paul-Dini. Well done. Well done. All right, everybody. Thanks once again for watching. Oh my gosh. Zazel, you're late. You're late. You were so late.
Better late than never.
Oh, that's all right.
There was Australia jokes.
Zazel, hang around. I'm going to shoot you a link. I want to talk to you if you've got a few minutes. Stick around after the show, and I'm going to bring you in. Hold on. All right, guys. that's it for us. I hope you have the rest of your week is great.
Mhm.
I guess it's only Sunday, so I hope your week is wonderful. And come back and see us on Tuesday. If not, next Sunday, Back in Black series, Wave 1, the Orange Box 2013, live right here with the three of us and special guests.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Until then,
Can't
everybody,
wait.
remember, fan on. And for Fandom Power, my name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Hank.
And we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.
Manamachu. Goopa loopa. Glunda. Yep, yep. Manatuto. Silgoba Fringawa. Goopa loopa.